We look at investment real estate through a different lens, through the lens of failure. This is not HGTV. Things don't always magically work out. Failure is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, but most importantly, an amazing teacher. We have failed more than most have tried, but because of our failure, we have succeeded. These are the stories that have turned average real estate investors into the battle-tested superstars that they are today. Welcome to The Flipping Reality. Hello everybody, Brian and Nico here with The Flipping Reality. The Flipping Reality is we are showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the investment real estate space. Today we have a fantastic episode for you. We are going to talk about
bad contractors.
And oh my gosh, have we come across some of the worst in this business. Now, the thing about bad contractors is they're tricky. Like, it is not simple to spot. You're not an idiot for hiring one. It's really challenging, and part of the problem is, like, we have gone through and we've experienced a lot. So because we've experienced a lot, we can share a lot about some tips and tricks to help avoid these contractors. Your face isn't in the screen.
That's okay.
It was only half a face. So, okay. So here's the situation. So when Nicole and I, we try to, record this, we're trying to pick a different spot in Detroit every single recording. We focus our stuff in a neighborhood east side of Detroit. It's the first neighborhood to the east of downtown. It's called Island View, but we also sneak over to West Village, East Village, and Indian Village. It's all kind of in the same pod of neighborhoods. Well, today we're a little bit on the west side of downtown. We are sitting at the newly finished $80 million Ralph C. Wilson Park, right on the riverfront. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous day outside.
It is a gorgeous day today.
And so we're just kind of sitting here, and if you're watching the actual video of us, you'll be able to see the Ambassador Bridge in the background. And then in the very, very background is the brand new Gordie Howe Bridge, which is $4 billion. So for anybody that's not familiar with what's going on in Detroit, a lot of amazing stuff is happening. We just put in this $80 million park on the water. There's a $4 billion bridge that connects us to Canada, right across the Detroit River from us. There's a $1 billion skyscraper that just got finished. There's a $1 billion renovation to the train station that was in Corktown that just finished. A $2 billion hospital is happening. And we share all those things because, like, when you have a strong, like, core of the city center, then what happens is people want to move into that city and be a part of it, which is what we're doing in Island View and East Village and West Village and Indian Village. Is we're fixing up those houses for people to be able to move into, to be able to enjoy all of the amenities that is happening in the city. So, yeah. So there's that. Wasn't expecting on going on that, but we do have, talking about bad contractors, there is a lot to talk about. So why don't we just jump right into it?
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about red flags to not ignore when you're trying to hire a new contractor. We'll talk about some of our stories we've been through. We could probably talk for a week or two straight on the craziest stories, but we'll see.
Easily could talk forever about that. And it's stories, like, just so you guys know, you are not alone on Idiot Island. You're just not. Sometimes we hire these people and we find ourselves in situations that are so freaking challenging, and you're like at night, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm a smart person. I'm not an idiot. Like, I know how to talk to people. I know how to find people. I know how to do all this stuff. Why the F am I in this stupid situation right now? And it's mind-boggling. It just pisses you off so bad. But it happens literally to everybody. Yeah. Promise. You're not alone.
Not alone, that's for sure. So then we'll talk about what it actually costs us to have a bad contractor, and how to protect yourself from hiring those guys.
Yeah, so those are 4 solid topics. Nico and I, spent a bunch of time talking this through just to make sure we're hitting on all of the important parts. So here we go. Let's hit it. So, red flags that we have ignored. Do you want to run through our notes on that?
Some ideas we came up with that we've been through and faced are, they want too much money and they want it up front before they even step foot through the door. They are cash only, no Venmo, no ACH, no all that stuff. They have crap communication, blames every delay on someone else or something else. They miss deadlines left and right. Smooth talker. They kind of camouflage their way as this really good guy, but they're not. Or a change order king.
So out of all that stuff, the thing that jumps out to me right away, and I guarantee you I'll have some contractors like responding to this. They want too much money up front. Like, hey, we want 50%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like,
are you distracted?
Yeah. Like 9 college girls just went running by. If I went running by them, they'd be distracted too. So,
oh my God.
I'd be like, look at how out of shape he is.
I guess we're going to have to park somewhere in like a storage shed or something.
Hey, whatever. They're enjoying the day. The Riverwalk here in Detroit is absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful, like, especially on a day like today, it's a fantastic place to check out. So anyhow, the big thing that is worth talking about is like, hey, I've never worked together before. We agreed to do this work together right now, whatever it is. Could be a handyman, could be a fence guy, could be a roof guy. I require 50% up front and then 50% upon completion.
Absolutely not. Not happening. Not today, not ever. We've done it though.
Sometimes you're stuck. Like there's one company, we had this like well company that required like money up front, and there was no other well companies. So you're like, okay, you're kind of screwed there. But I am not giving you a nickel until you do work, because in this investment real estate business, the thing that matters the most, which people have a hard time understanding, and you're kind of taught differently, the money is what matters the most. The person that lends you the money to fix the house, like that person is on the hook the most. If I take that money and I pay our contractor up front, I am on the hook the most with that. I do understand that a contractor who's never worked with me before, could be, on the hook for a day or two worth of work. However, that is much smaller. Let's say it's a $5,000 job and I give you $2,500 up front, and you show up for a day and you don't get paid, or 2 days and you don't get paid. Realistically, that's maybe, $600 to $1,000, depending on what type of work it is, that you would be out. I would be out $2,500 if you go sideways. So what I do, or what we do, is we say, okay, like we've never worked together before. I said, the end of the first day you're there, I will send you money. I'll write you a check. I will do whatever we have to do at the end of the first day. Once you've done work, until you do work, you don't get money from us. Ever. Just because you shook my hand doesn't mean you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And point in order about that, we had a cement guy that he's like, listen, I need $2,500. It was either $2,000 or $2,500. I think it was $2,500 up front because I have to buy the cement. Okay, that's fine. Give him the $2,500. And then that guy, like, he wound up, like, weeks later, he was supposed to do this in like 2 weeks. Weeks later, we found out that he passed away. Like, he took his life. We knew that he was dealing with some issues at home. His fiance passed away. So that's what we heard. And then, I'm not kidding, 4 or 5 years later, we found out that that guy faked his own death.
Yeah.
Somebody saw him at like Home Depot and was like, hey, remember that cement guy? We're like, yeah, he died. And they're like, nope, we saw him at Depot. So that dude swindled us out of $2,500, and he didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So what do we do if we have to pay for materials? How do we handle material stuff?
I generally like to pay for the materials directly. So if it's a depot or at a cement supply company or whatever it is, pay for the materials directly, at least the first few times that you're working with this person. But even if you've been working with somebody for a while, we still don't generally pay up front for anything, because at any time people go sideways. Like, we could have a great relationship with a contractor for a year, do 10 projects together, and all of a sudden if falls apart. And so that's just the rule.
That happens a lot. Here's the general rule of thumb for us when we're working with a new contractor. By the third project is when you know everything that you need to know. You know their quality, you know their communication, you know quality communication, their timing, all of the stuff.
Yeah.
Can they do the actual job? Can they do it when, with what they say? So 3 jobs tells you everything you need to know. Never try to scale a contractor right off the rip. Okay, oh, well, you can do it. Wonderful. You don't know if this contractor is robbing Peter to pay Paul for his jobs. That happens a lot. And so what they'll do is they'll get you under contract to do a job. You put your deposit down. Now that money has successfully gone to finish a different project.
Yeah.
Happens a lot.
A lot.
And so that was money up front. Cash only is weird. That's like they're just trying to avoid
taxes, and then you have no trail of payments to them. It's just don't. Crap communication. That's a huge one. If they show up to the job site and they're there for 3 hours and then they disappear and you're there the next day like, hey, where's the progress? And they have excuse after excuse after excuse, or they don't respond for 3 or 4 days. Now your project's delayed. It's going to cost you a lot more in the long run. Blame every delay on someone else. It's always this person's fault, or the electrician's holding me up, or this person, or that, or if they have excuses for everything, it's just not going to work.
The other part about that is, hey, I had an emergency. Okay, like that happens. You just have to pay attention to this type of stuff, because the people that don't show up on time or on the right day or anything like that, they're going to have all of the excuses in the world. And the problem with that is, like, yeah, shit happens. Stuff happens, right? But just pay attention to it, because, like, yeah, we're all people. We all have, we all have sick kids and, like, things that pop up out of nowhere, a furnace that goes out. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, I got to deal with that instead. Recently I had to deal with a leak in my mother-in-law's condo that, like, unexpected. I had to kind of drop everything and deal with that. Sure, we're all people, but what you'll notice is that these particular people, they will have excuse after excuse after excuse. And then the favorite part of that is inevitably something real will happen on, like, the 7th excuse. And then you blow up and you're like, oh my God, why aren't you there? And then they get pissed.
Yeah.
They're like, my wife was in the hospital. I can't believe you would come at me like that. Well, I'm coming at you like that because the previous 6 excuses have all been bullshit.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
Smooth talker. Oh, this is going to lead us right into our contractor stories.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. So the smooth talkers, here's the problem with the smooth talkers. They are so believable. They're wonderful. They pass the sniff test. They do all of...
They know the right things to say and when to say them.
It's god awful. It really is. We've had contractors, and I think we're going to talk about this. Yeah, the very first one on our list. So let's just move into, like, the worst contractor stories. The first one on our list, like, we are not shit talkers. That's not our style, so we're not going to say any names or anything like that. But this first person that we dealt with, that person passed all of the tests. That person had a team. That person could handle themselves well. That person did all the work themselves.
He was licensed.
He could do, like, he had the proof. He had all the stuff, and it was wonderful. And because of that person, we tried him out for a couple houses. We're like, okay, this is good. And this guy had the ability to do an assembly line where it's like, I have a licensed electrician and a licensed plumber and a licensed this guy and a licensed that guy. And because I have all these people, like, on staff, we can do it cheaper. So we're like, okay. So we were taking grandma houses that necessarily didn't need to get, like, walls removed. And we were removing walls because we could upgrade some stuff.
Not just some walls, like full gutted 5 houses, fully gutted.
We did.
That didn't need to be.
We did, in fact, do 5 houses worth of that. And Why do I keep getting calls? I keep forgetting to silence my phone. Here, focus.
Focus, grasshopper.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So now what has happened is we have fallen for the allure of the smooth talker. He can do everything right. Here's the thing that you have to protect yourself against. When you come across these contractors that can do this stuff, can do everything, when you agree to a project, you have to remember, and if you're saving money because this person can offer you a service that's maybe cheaper than other contractors because they're doing all of it or whatever, you have to ask yourself, what is the cost that you would pay if this contractor dipped out on you?
Yeah.
Like
such a valid point.
So if you're going to buy a house and you're like, well, this guy can run the whole project like for $65,000 and normally it would cost $110,000. And you're like, holy cow, we figured out how to, like, now this house makes sense.
Yeah.
We can make $30,000 on it.
Yep.
Done that. And so you buy the house with his contractor pricing, and then they just stop showing up to work.
Then you got to pay the full price for somebody else to do it. So now the deal doesn't work.
It's bad. It's really bad. So these smooth talkers, I'm telling you, you can smash your face against the wall repeatedly because I've been tricked by them over and over and over. I mean, we have a list right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 4 guys on this list that we have trusted tremendously.
Yeah, with big projects.
Big projects, and have been effed over bigger than you can ever imagine. It's crazy.
That leads us into the next one, who got me really good. I still like him.
That's the crazy part about this.
Like, his personality was great. He had us all convinced that he could do all these things for the cheapest price, and he had proof to back it up too.
This guy was the epitome of a robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So what he would do is he'd take on our project, he'd bid it real low, get us to sign up, give him money towards the project. He'd use that money on somebody he already owes from before. So then ours doesn't get started right away. So then he would take on another project to start ours. And this just kept going and going and going for years.
Yep.
We fought. I mean, there was a point where all of us were texting him daily, multiple times a day, calling him daily, like, hey, what's the plan today? Hey, what's the plan today? And he would tell us the plan and be so confident about it. And then it never happened. And then the next day I'm hearing the same story. Oh, this is the plan. We're going to do it. We're going to do it like this. Didn't happen. Next did the same thing. I mean, this went on for what, 2 years?
Oh God. Yeah. Because what happens is, like, at some point we're going to talk about being in too deep. Like, you've paid this guy, and let's say you've paid him 75-80% of the project, and you do like a reality check and you're like 40% of the way there. Like, all along the way, the draws have made sense. They've done just enough work to where it makes sense. And now the next draw is to buy this material. And then you're looking at it and you're going, well, I only have $10,000 left.
Put it up there. AC. Sorry.
What? Yep. Okay, we got this figured out here.
We're overheating in here.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just roll this window down. There we go. So basically what happens is, you look and you're like, okay, I got $10,000 left to pay you, but there's no chance in hell that this is getting done for $10,000.
No.
And then the problem, like, at this point, you're in deep. It's like, well, if I have somebody else do it, it's going to cost me $30,000.
Yeah.
So then what you do is you try to make that guy work, and you're like, okay, I'm going to put my big boy pants on and I'm going to yell at this guy. Some of you are natural yellers, others aren't. Some people avoid confrontation, some people don't. But you get to the point where you're mother effing this guy and you're like, listen, call them up on the phone. Like, listen, you are going to be here tomorrow. I need to see you. I need to do all that. And then you know what they do? You know what these bastards do? They'll show up tomorrow. They'll show up and they'll see you there. And they're like, see, I told you.
Show face and that's it.
Uh-huh. And then, like, okay, here's my plan. okay, so we're here, we're working on this stuff. I have a quick thing at like 1 o'clock that I need to go to, and then like we'll finish up later in the day, and then we'll be back tomorrow, and it'll be great. And you're walking away like, okay, that guy is afraid of me. Like I really got through to him. Like unlike anybody that's ever gotten through to him before.
Not.
They don't show up tomorrow. Then maybe the rest of the week you might see them like one additional time because you're losing your mind. And then next thing you know, weeks and weeks go by and you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's challenging. So this particular guy that we're talking about, he was the king of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And again, the with at least these first few people that we're going to talk about, they are talented, they're capable, and it just, for whatever reason, just because they're good at like doing the contractual side of it, they're not necessarily good at the business side.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's that guy. Third guy. What do you want to talk about with him? Like this guy.
He is another prime example of a smooth talker. He knew how to talk to anybody and get what he wanted out of you. And he also had the capabilities to do a really good job if he did it right.
He did.
He just couldn't follow through.
I mean, this is a guy that could not follow through. And then after like repeated, like, bro, don't do me dirty. Like, please help us out. And this particular guy was attached to our business, in a way. I'm not going to elaborate any further on that, but there was like attachments to the business. So you're like, okay, there's attachments to the business. So you,
of all people, should
care that you're letting us down. And you're letting us down. So this guy ignores, and just ignores everything. And then finally I get to the point, he's not answering calls, he's not showing up, he's not doing anything. So then I fire him via text. I'm past the point of like...
Because he doesn't answer.
I'm past the point of like, okay, now I'm in too deep with this guy. Now I just need to fire him and move on. So I send him a text. Hey, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm going to get somebody else to finish this job. Then I get a response immediately. You mother effer, I can't believe you would do this to me. I can't believe this is happening.
It's a prime example of zero accountability. Zero.
It's so bad. So that was the case.
This next guy was fairly recent. He had a fuse, a very short one.
Oh my gosh. It was unbelievable. I've never seen...
It's an example of somebody that you hire kind of in an emergency situation, something we needed done quick. It was a plumber. We needed the sewer done quick for a sale. And we needed it done like, how to explain it? Immediately.
Yeah.
And so you hire the best person you can find at the time and then can get to the job, and that bit us pretty hard.
This guy was so angry.
Yeah.
Just angry at everything. Angry at his work, angry at his workers, angry at me, yelling at everything.
Not just yelling, he got physically angry with somebody on the job site.
He did.
Turned into a much bigger nightmare.
I forgot about that. Part. Yeah, he absolutely did. And that, like, obviously you're dealing with a bunch of different personalities that are working on job sites, but, when guys that you hire around other guys that you hire, you don't really control that dynamic.
Yeah.
So this guy wound up being, it was really, really bad. He was screaming. And finally I had to have a conversation like, listen, you are a super talented person, man, but your headspace is not in the right headspace right now.
Yeah.
Because this is not how you treat anybody, let alone your people, let alone me, your customer.
It's not the culture we want around our business at all.
No. That's a great way to put it. I mean, we're we're kind of like servant leadership style, and I don't need to be surrounded by people that are like,
No.
what I say goes at all costs.
This job is hard in itself. You don't need the added stress from angry contractors. There's a lot of good ones out there if you look hard enough.
True that. Next guy was an early on guy, and early on guy is funny. He came to us through like a partner that I had early on in the business, and this guy was a painter, and he is your typical like lowest dollar, cheapest guy you can even imagine. Just bottom of the barrel. And those people that are usually in that situation, like you get more than what you pay for in regards to problems. So if you go with the cheapest person, it was really bad. So this guy was painting the basement of one of our nicest houses at the time, and he was spray painting the ceiling black, and he didn't tape anything off, and he was spraying through all of the holes in the ductwork up into the first floor, onto our brand newly finished hardwood floors, onto our finished walls that were painted by a different painter on the main floor, onto all of the stuff, the trim. So you go upstairs after he's done, and there's black paint.
Oh my gosh!
Literally all over.
This is pre-me.
This is before you were here. All over everything. At every spot where there was an HVAC hole, he just didn't even, didn't tape anything, didn't cover anything. So again, like you get the super duper cheapest guy, and that's the super duper worst quality that you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Next guy is your friend. What did he do?
He was a mechanical guy, and he was a great price. Recommended by one of these other guys on this list. And he did, I think, 3 total houses for us, the full mechanical on them.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was the 3 things that those 3 houses all had in common?
They all had furnaces.
Okay.
And then
what about the furnaces though? Something happened to them. I forget.
All of a sudden, all 3 houses, the furnaces got stolen. The houses got broken into miraculously, and all 3 furnaces were gone.
I forget who said this, but I remember, I don't know if it was our observation or your observation or somebody's observation, was like, this one was uninstalled.
Yeah. Like it's a clean uninstall. Like somebody knew what they were doing.
So, we have break-ins from time to time in Detroit. And when those happen, usually what happens is you walk down into the basement, the furnace is gone, and the ductwork is like everywhere because they've just basically bear hugged around the furnace and just yanked back and forth
as quick as they can.
As quick as they can. So it looks like a complete shit show.
Yeah. So these were well thought out.
Mm-hmm. So here's the funny part. Like, that was over a period of time.
Yeah.
We didn't piece it together. Do you remember what else happened with him?
At the picnic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Tell that story.
So we had a company picnic every year, and during the picnic, one of our coworkers' her debit card went missing. And we knew everybody at this picnic, trusted, or so we thought, everybody. And then they found her car. Well, they didn't find the card, but they saw it being used at a gas station a few miles away. And they saw the truck, and it was the same truck as this mechanical guy.
So can you imagine, like, we invite all of our, like, trusted people, our team. This was at one of our nice Airbnbs that we had on the water. It was a great time. We invite our lenders and investors and, all of our contractors. We invite everybody just as a thank you. Just to kind of relax outside of work for a minute. And can you imagine at your most trusted party that somebody stole somebody else's debit card?
That's crazy.
It was horrible. So that was bad. So then we kind of started piecing everything together at that point. We're like, oh,
yeah,
darn it.
And also at that time, he was starting to turn into, like, his communication started to turn. And he would say, he was having money problems and stuff. So everything just started adding up, and we figured it out. And that was the last of that.
Yeah, I'm going to add somebody to the list that we did not originally have on here. This guy, you talk about money problems. This guy was somebody that we've worked with for a long time. We worked with him for probably 5 years, and we gave him a ton of work, and just like we would, I always felt like he was trying to improve himself. He always wanted to make himself better. But you know how difficult that is. Sometimes you're in a difficult situation. It takes a long time to be able to get out of the scenario that you're in. But this guy is an example of like you want to help, you want to help him go from here to there. So we're like, okay, like come along for the ride. We'll help. We'll give you, you know, all of our work and all this type of stuff. So then, I don't know. Do you have any idea who it is
I'm
yet?
trying to figure it out.
Okay, I know. I can see it like going in your brain.
My brain's moving.
The next part you'll know instantly. So then this guy reaches out to me and says, "Listen, Brian, I am, I'm behind on my rent or mortgage or whatever. I need $2,500, and there it is. I need $2,500, and I need it by tomorrow. I am, obviously we have a job that we're getting ready to start. Let's say tomorrow is Monday. We have a job that we're getting ready to start on Wednesday, and we'll be done by next Sunday. Is there any way you can pay me up front?" How many times did we use him, Nicole?
A lot for years.
For years.
A lot. And he always did what he said he was going to do. Sometimes he was late and slower than we expected, but he always got it done.
Right. He's a person, right?
Like until we broke our number one rule.
So I tell him, I said, listen, I do this for nobody ever. I don't do this because every time I do this, I get effed over. Every single time. I'm like, don't F me over. He's like, I promise I won't. We'll be there on Wednesday. It'll be a few days, and then we'll be done by Sunday, and we're good. I send him the $2,500 because this is a person that I think genuinely is trying to, make a better life for himself and trying to improve his situation. And I don't want you to go homeless on my watch. And there's a job right behind it. We never saw him again.
Not once.
Who does that? This is the stuff that I'm talking about. We've worked years with this guy. Years. On, I don't know how many projects. I mean, probably 100 projects.
It almost like hurts here. Like, it really does. You develop these relationships and you think you're good, and then you do something good, and
that was it. That was it. I think we had a conversation with him after, and he said he'd make it up to us. And that was, 2.5 years ago at this point?
Probably, yeah.
It just, and it's a classic example. His life kind of fell apart, and I don't know what he used the money for, but his life fell apart. And then because his life fell apart, now my deposit or money that I gave him is gone. That's why you can't do it. Can't do it to your friends. Can't do it to, you just can't do it.
No.
Unless this person is super critical, to the mission.
Yeah.
I would do it for Nicole, but that's about it. You know what I mean? Like that, in this space. No, they're our current guys. There are certain people that develop
the deeper, loyalty. Yeah, loyalty.
Deep loyalty. And so there's that. So that was that guy. Man, I'm looking at another HVAC guy.
Another HVAC guy, kind of the same in a way. He always, we worked with him for a long time too, probably 5 or so years, maybe a little bit longer. He always came in the cheapest out of anybody. And he'd show up to the job site. Like one of the houses down here, I remember he was supposed to come install the furnace that day. And he shows up that morning and he calls me and he's like, "Hey, I'm at the house." I said, "Oh, okay, are you getting the furnace?" And he goes, "No, I didn't bring it with me." And I'm like, "You're there to install the furnace.
Why would you come?
Why would you drive all the way here when he lives 45 minutes away without a furnace?" Like, it makes no sense. He would do stuff like that all the time. And it's because he showed face.
Yep.
He showed face, and then he would leave and go do another job that he probably got paid for.
Yep.
Quickly.
Yep.
And we became last priority on probably 50 houses. We went through this with him.
Yeah.
But we kept using him because he did eventually get it done, and he got it done for a good price. But in the long run, it probably cost us a lot more.
You know what's funny? Our new HVAC guy took that same risk-reward calculation recently and said, you guys give me so much work, I will move stuff around to help you guys. Versus this other guy, he would put us last on the list because he knew we would always be around, which was bad. So there's that. Skip the next one. Talk about this carpet situation.
Oh my gosh, this is when I was a newbie, and she was the carpet lady that we used for every house, and we always had issues with them. I've probably forgotten 90% of it, but the one thing that sticks in my mind is so often I'd pick out a carpet in the price point that we agree upon, and I'd show up at the house and a completely different carpet was installed. I mean, like the ugliest orange golden crap that nobody wants would be installed in our house. So I would call her and I'm like, this is not what I picked. Well, we had it and I thought it was close enough to what you picked, so it's not what I chose.
I'll never forget that. That one that was like orange.
It was so orange, like grandma carpet.
Yeah, that's like from the 70s. Like that's the stuff we rip out, and it was freshly installed.
I'm surprised I still had hair left because I wanted to pull it out of my head talking to her.
Every single time, it was always an issue, always a problem.
I finally had it, and we haven't looked back since, thankfully.
Yep.
And then this other guy, oh my gosh, he was also when I was brand new on my very first house. Hired him.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Hired him to do a roof on a shed, to hang an American flag, probably some other stuff, but so he does the roof on the shed, and then you came to the house. It was a 2-story house, looks out the back window. He's like, that shed has about 6 different shingle colors on it. He got like clearance shingles from random places, and that's what he redid the shed with. So none of them matched.
I think what he did.
I mean, like red, blue, green.
It was horrible. The finished product looked like what you replace.
Yes.
It was so bad. So the roof was god-awful. Absolutely god-awful. But the nice part is he redeemed himself when he hung the American flag.
No, he didn't.
Oh, wait. That's right. You wouldn't think it would be hard to hang an American flag.
You would think it would be the easiest job imaginable. But we didn't even notice it until the listing photos, because it was the last thing we did.
Yeah.
The photographer went over there, took the photos of the house, got listed. I'm so excited. It's my first project listed, and I pulled up the listing. And the American flag is hung upside down.
Oh my gosh, which is hilarious because if I'm not mistaken, isn't an upside down American flag a sign of distress?
Yes.
That was the only distress sign that we needed to know about that guy.
That was it. That was the only house he ever touched.
That was crazy. Crazy, crazy. So, okay. Last one is, this guy was like a handyman that worked for us. And this is a classic example of having somebody that is outside of their depth. There's 2 things with this guy. One, he'd start a project, he'd do 10% of it, and then he'd go to a different house and do 10% of it, and then he'd go to a different house and do 10% of it. Oh. It's like, just do.
He is where my saying came from.
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What is the saying?
He is where done came from. Because, like you said, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but 10% of each job would be done. And then he moved to the next house, do 10%. So anyway, my first house that we worked on together, he said he was going to go, I think it was demo the shower tile. And he texted me that day and he goes, okay, it's done. And I'm like, okay. So I went to check on it. Not done. Maybe like 30% done.
Yep.
So I'm like, Jay, hey, you said this was done.
Blurp.
You said this was done. It's not done. And he's like, oh yeah, I just got to go back and fix it up a little bit. So then he would text me the next day, done. Show up, still not fully done. Nothing was ever fully done. Nope. So that's when my saying came. It's not done until it's 3 dones. Done, done, done.
And the funny part about that is everybody understands it because to this day, we'll get people, our best guys will be like, we're all done over there. Like, oh, that's awesome. So like nothing else. Well, no, I just got to put this outlet on. Okay, well, you're not done then.
Yeah.
You're almost done. You're close to being done, but you're not done. So when we say to them, are you done? They're like, no. Like, okay. And so he was the bringer of that.
Remember the crooked handrail?
Oh my gosh. So the other part of it is like, one, you get people that, they're ADHD. They can't like stay focused on, just get one project done, then move to the next one. The other part is sometimes, and happens to the best of us, we try to push our people that we have beyond their capabilities. We wanted this guy to put in a handrail for us, and like we were down there with them. We're like, okay, this is how you do it, and all the spindles and all that stuff. And I can't begin to tell you that we left, let him finish it. The next day I come over there, and it looked like one of those, what's the painting where the clock is like melted over the table? One of those, like, is it Degas or Monet? Monet, I don't know. It's one of those to where it was a surrealism painting to where all of the spindles, which should have been 90 degrees, were on angles, 70-degree angles, 60-degree angles, 30-degree angles.
But you're leaving out an important part.
Which part? The banister?
It was, first of all, that job had to be done in a hurry because we were closing the next day. And second, he did the job when he said he would do it and sent us photos that night in a company group chat. Oh, yep. It's done. Sent us photos of it. Photos were from certain angles.
Oh, yeah, he did.
So it looked beautiful in the photos.
Yep, great job.
And then you went there, and it was like, what? Were you drunk?
The craziest part is that it's all jacked up. The handrail is the wrong angle. The banister was upside down. Like, all of it was bad, as bad as it can get. And then the city inspector came there the next day, and he's like, I don't know what the hell this is, but it passed. Which is, we were laughing.
The buyers were not happy, though, because they saw it through their walkthrough.
Well, of course.
So my dad actually went and fixed it.
Your dad solved the problem. Nicole's dad is a tremendous woodworker. Mm-hmm. And man, I mean, he did, this is basic craftsmanship, just put your spindles vertical.
Straight.
So he came and he helped us out in a pinch, which was wonderful. It's way below his means, because his means, like, just some of the most amazing woodwork you've ever seen. But that is a part of the Good Contractor series where, you need these people that you can rely and depend on when you're in a pinch. And those are the guys that are like, hey, this might be outside of your scope, but I need your help to be able to do this. And they figure shit out. Mm-hmm. And that's just another example of, it's the who, it's not the what. The what is, I have a jacked up handrail right now. Really what you need to know, who is the person that's going to fix that jacked up handrail?
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite sayings in this business. It's not ever what the problem is. It's the who is going to fix it. And if you can figure out the who, you're fine.
True that. Okay, so let's talk about like the next section, which is what it costs us.
Extra holding costs. You got to redo it, so you got to pay more again. Stress at home, stress on the team, burnout, your reputation. So those are some of the fallbacks from dealing with bad contractors.
Yeah, and here's where bad contractors can impact good contractors. If you have, let's say, a framer that is framing a house and the walls aren't plumb or vertical, or the doors aren't the right width for like a bifold door versus like a regular swinging door, and then you get drywallers that come in. You got wonderful drywallers, and then they come in after, and they're like, "This is jacked up."
Yeah.
Or you got the door installer coming in after, and it's like, a lot of the times you get these bad contractors that don't do a good job, and then the good contractor is left to deal with it, and then they get pissed, and they don't want to deal with it. So you need to be tight from beginning of your project to the end of your project, because a bad contractor, and if you use them too many times, they'll knock out your good contractors for you.
Yeah.
And they'll bring your whole company down, which is like a reputation thing. And then, Nicole talks about burnout. Like, yeah, you get burned out, like walking into a project and you walk in, you're like, what the F, man? Like, this is crazy. Like, how is this still the case? Why does it look like that?
Or hearing the excuses. Oh, that's my least favorite. Like, constantly excuses. It just really wears you down. Excuse after excuse why it wasn't done, or why it wasn't done correctly, or why it's going to cost more, or whatever it is. I like to work with problem solvers.
Problem solvers are the best. Like, you have to find them. If you are choosing to use somebody that's going to be cheaper than average, odds are that they're going to create problems for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to spend a little bit more. Your cheap guy tends to be the expensive guy. So you just want to make sure that, you work with people that, that are the right quality. Here's the problem. You have to try people, when you start, you have to just randomly pick people, like, who can I do this with? So when you're just starting off in this business, you're stuck. You're at the, you got to, hey, so-and-so, I know you flip houses. Do you have a roofer? Like, yep. Okay. So you use that guy. Now, because that referral did a good job for that person one time doesn't mean they're going to do a good job for you.
Yeah.
And maybe that guy did a great job for your referral person because they do 100 jobs a year for them. And I know this happened to my sister. She's like, I don't get it. Like, you say this guy has done a wonderful job for you. He won't give me the time of day. And it's like, well, he's not giving you the time of day because you're going to give him one job ever. And I'm going to give him 40 jobs this year.
Yeah.
So it's always a tricky little situation. So that was our like what it actually costs. There's definitely impacts, emotionally, mentally, physically on the team. Here's the question, right? This is what you want to know. How do you protect yourself? Gonna talk about that?
Yeah. So quickly running through some thoughts we had. Now we use detailed scopes, payment schedules tied to milestones, never pay up front, which we spoke about a little bit, daily job site check-ins, which is probably the most important, clear expectations in writing, and undisciplined equals undisciplined results.
Yeah, so let's talk about that last one real quick. The undisciplined is the one, this is the person that is the worst part of the project every time. It's the person that you're looking at in the mirror. And what happens is we love the idea that we can call somebody, hey, I need you to work on this house. Give me a quote. It's going to be $28,000 for you to run the whole project. Wonderful. Go. And the problem with this as a business owner is that you're the problem because you're being undisciplined and you don't have it in writing because you trust the person and you don't, you're not being disciplined enough to run a tight ship.
Yeah.
And I promise you that's 98% of real estate investors out there. You're just not disciplined enough to be able to do things the right way. And then what happens is you get towards the end of the project. Has this ever happened to you? Why didn't you fix that? Oh, that wasn't in my scope. Well, but we talked about it. Well, I didn't put it into the price. Well, now you don't have a written scope. You don't have a written budget. You just have a number.
Yeah.
And now there's no way to say that this guy is right or wrong. And you're stuck. And now you have an undisciplined result because you didn't create the budget or the scope. And now you have nothing to go off of.
Exactly. Happens all the time.
All the time. Which is nuts. The other thing is, what was the other thing that just kind of popped up? We talked about like previously about the change orders, people like adding a ton of change orders. When you don't have a scope or a written scope, then it leaves you vulnerable to change orders.
And they add up fast. And people sometimes abuse them.
And do you know why they abuse the change orders?
Because they underbid the job.
They underbid the job. So now it's like, oh, here's a change order. Well, that wasn't included. Well, guess what happens when you do a change order? That change order is paid at the time of the change order. It's not paid when it's done. So that's how it's supposed to be handled. So a change order is like an influx of cash to a bad contractor.
Yeah.
So now they're looking for change orders to add so they can get an influx of cash so they can just keep either this project going or the next project. But at some point, you are going to pay the price for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality comes in, you just need to be at the job sites. You need to be looking at what's going on. Realistically, you need to slow down. If you're doing multiple projects, you just need to slow down.
Yeah.
You got to verify before you pay. All this stuff, like if you're doing one flip a year, probably doesn't sound crazy. And it probably sounds crazy that we're saying it. But when you're doing one house at a time, it's the only house you have, and you're probably there a bunch. But once you start to scale this business,
it gets harder.
It gets really challenging.
But it's so key to be there, see it with your own eyes. Another thing I do is go over my checklist every single day on every house that we're working on, because just keep your memory fresh and on the job so you're not forgetting things, and days and days and days, and before you know it, you're way behind your projected timeline.
Yeah, and so just being there often makes a huge difference. It also prevents mistakes that are made from getting out of hand. Somebody could be putting down the wrong tile inadvertently. Yesterday we showed up to the job and the light fixtures were in the wrong spots. They were swapped with the bathrooms. So it's just it's little stuff. Nothing clarifies like clarity. So the more clear you are with everything, you got your budget, you got your scope, you got your timeline, you're there in person, and you're talking stuff through. And if you're working with great contractors, then my expectation when I'm working with a great contractor is that there might be something that comes across, as an issue along the way. That's kind of not a big deal. A few hours you might have to fix. I expect my contractors to eat that every time. I don't expect them to have to change order me because there was something that was unexpected there. You're taking on these whole projects, I expect you to do that. Now, if it's something completely unrealistic.
Yeah, one of our recent projects, the basement, we decided to partially finish it. That is obviously a change order.
Yep. And so, but when you're working with good contractors, they expect to come across the problem, don't bitch about it, fix it, and move on. Mm-hmm. Half the time, I guarantee we don't know about half the problems that our guys deal with.
Guarantee. Nowadays, back in the day, I heard every problem under the sun. But these days, we don't as much.
And so the way to avoid all of this, again, vet your people as much as you can. That's, if you're just picking somebody blind, that's super challenging. Don't give them money up front. Don't overcommit to using them on 5 projects when you've only done 1. You need to do 3 projects to have a good understanding of what somebody's quality, commitment, character is. But even after those 3 projects, don't overcommit yourself, because these people, they're people and they go through real life ups and downs as well. Yeah. And, you're just trying to protect yourself to where, if something goes sideways with them, which it does. I mean, how many times have we talked about they're good, they're good, they're good, they're good, they're good, and then they're not. And then they're gone and they're bad, or something sideways happens. It happens
all the time.
All the time.
It's really sad when it does. When you finally think you find the guy.
I mean, think about this. How many contractors, I actually know this number. Do you have any idea, just ballpark, how many contractors that we've used?
Total?
Yeah.
Not on one house?
No.
600?
You cheater. 600.
I think I knew this at some point.
650 in 8 years. And realistically, so there's been 650 people that we have used.
That's a lot.
And how many do you think realistically we use now? 20?
Yeah.
So,
how about 20, 25?
30, yeah. So,
it takes 38 contractors to do a full gut job.
Yeah.
From start to finish. You're doing everything.
But some of those people do
multiple things.
So let's go on the high side. And let's say it's 50 people, okay, that we have in our Rolodex, which we probably do. So we have 50 people right now. I'm sure we do. That means 600 people have come and gone.
Yeah. And those 50 that we have right now, I feel, I should knock on wood, I feel the best. We finally got this, full rounded team that we believe in and trust. And it's taken, well, me 6 years to get to that point, but just time, patience, discipline.
The other thing worth mentioning is, trying to fill out the bench too. Try to get, if you're doing a few projects, try to get a couple of electricians, try to get a couple plumbers. Your best results are going to come kind of in two ways. One, if you can kind of, bid the project to multiple people, you typically get it a little bit cheaper. Two, the urgency is real, because if you just give them the job and they know they're always going to have the job, then sometimes they'll put other people's work in front of yours. So if you do the takeaway, I'm a big fan of the takeaway, that they realize like, hey, this job is not guaranteed. Then they tend to move their ass a little bit faster. Yeah. So that's our bad contractors.
That's a lot of bad stuff. We could keep going, but
oh my gosh, that's 55 minutes of bad contractor
if
stuff.
If you haven't watched our good contractors episode, you should check that out too.
Yep, there's a lot of really good tips and tricks on the good contractors. What do we have? We're just talking about what our next episode, the plan is.
Our next one is going to be talking about project management and how to manage these jobs and some of the tricks and tips and everything we've learned so far.
Yep, and then after that, we're also going to start a guest series where we're going to start bringing on people that are like true experts in this industry. And we are going to focus a lot on like the bad stuff that goes sideways with them, the mindset of how they got through it. Really want to focus on the bad, because I think a lot more people than you realize feel like they're on Idiot Island. And you're just not alone.
You're not alone.
And so I want to, we already have a few people lined up where we're going to talk about really nasty stuff. I've had these conversations with these people already. We haven't recorded it yet. We're going to do it a little bit more formally, but really the goal there is to talk about, just some nasty stuff that they have dealt with, how it impacted them, how they got through it, what their mindset is. And then there's even going to be some golden nuggets of how to raise private funds. Every single person we're going to talk to about that. So I know that is going to add just a tremendous amount of value. Nicole working on the project management series. I'm telling you, she is as bad as it gets in a good way. 1980s Michael Jackson bad, of how to do this stuff. So she's going to be a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the project management side, how to run all that. So make sure you check us out for that. And we waited till the very end, which is probably the wrong time, to ask you to like and subscribe and follow, do all the stuff.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all of the above.
Facebook. Yep.
Please help us support us.
Thank you. That is the flipping reality of this week. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.